Welcome back to Shalom World's coverage of World Youth Day 2019 here in Panama. And I'm about to do something that is not going to be work for me at all. I am going to talk to one of my best friends in the world. This is Steve Angrisano. And if you do not know Steve Angrisano, you are in for a treat. Look for him on Spotify. Look for him on Apple Music. So he has been described in the United States as America's youth minister, and that is exactly it. So, Steve, here's my question to you.
Sure.
You're a veteran of how many World Youth Days?
I don't actually know the answer to your question, but it's 7 to 9, like since Denver, 93. So.
All right. Yeah. Everyone has its character. It's a unique character.
Yes.
So, have we been here long enough for its unique character to emerge here in Panama?
Well, I would have said no 2 hours ago, but I just watched the papal welcome and was able to listen to the Holy Father and to experience the crowd. And I would say absolutely. You know, first of all, there's a very Central American character to this World Youth Day, and the food and the celebration and the music. And, you know, I have a couple favorite moments since I got here, but one was playing not far from here at another stage. Yeah. And there was a lot of people from Panama there waving the flag. And I said to one of the ladies, "Thank you for welcoming us to your country." And she said, "Oh, it is your country too."
Oh my!
And
God.
I thought, I want to hug her. I like, that's beautiful. So.
Well, I've had the same thing. People just walking on the street that, you know, you kind of get in the big city mode, don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
And then in English, they'll welcome me to their country.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I've Ubered a lot, and so learned a lot about the country, and it's a beautiful spirit here. You know, there's a beautiful spirit here. The other thing that I think identified the character of this World Youth Day for me was the Pope quoted, and I won't get the quote exactly, but the Pope quoted newly canonized Saint Oscar Romero, and the quote was, "Christianity is not a set of rules to be followed, or commands, dictates to be, it is, Christianity is a person."
Yeah.
Christianity is a person who loves us and asks for our love in return.
Yeah.
And that really just rocked me, you know, and I thought that is who we're called to be in this world today. And I was thinking, as you asked, what did I hear today that defines this World Youth Day? I hearken all the way back to my first World Youth Day when the Pope landed, and he's so humble, and he so turns it around on, look at you, give yourselves a hand. And I thought of Pope St. John Paul landing in Denver and saying, "You did not come to see the Pope. The Pope has come to see you." And you look at the crowd today and you go, this is the church, the hope and the faith and the enthusiasm and passion of the church. And they've chosen to pilgrimage, and maybe I'm being grandiose, but chosen to pilgrimage and open up their hearts to grace and to miracle and to God moving. And God is willing to do that, and you see it in them. So that is a long, but that is my answer to your question. What is the character of this?
So now you've been a veteran, and you've had some unique opportunities to play music here. You're a songwriter, youth minister in how you write songs, but also a liturgical minister in how you write songs. And so you've had an opportunity to help lead worship during Eucharistic adoration last night. If you would tell a little bit about what that event was.
Last night there was an event called Fiat, and it was sponsored by the USCCB and an organization called Focus, Knights of Columbus, all United States organizations for the most part. And it was a night of music and prayer and Eucharistic adoration with Bishop Barron, Cardinal Sean O'Malley, and I couldn't really describe for you when 8,000 people, we were probably 6,000 to 8,000 people kneeling down in adoration. I was blessed to be part of the musicians that played for that adoration, and you could feel the prayer of the people, and as much as hard as they prayed, when we were done, the celebration and the flags, and it was absolutely a World Youth Day experience. And the speaker before adoration was Sister Bethany. You know her last name. I don't even know if I No, but
I don't know her last. I just know.
yeah,
I
Sister
thought her
Beth.
first name's Sister. Her last name
Yeah.
was Bethany, but I guess that's not right.
Right.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, it's the only name I know. It's the only name I know for her.
But she's
Sister
one of the Sisters
Bethany.
of Life who are
Yes.
in New York.
Yes, Sisters of Life in New York, and she spoke so directly about addiction,
Wow.
pornography,
Wow.
the hurts that in the teenage and young adult heart, and just said, come to Jesus tonight and believe that he can heal those things. Come to Jesus tonight and just believe that he can do what he says he will do. And when we started and there was a procession through the crowd, you could feel people bring their sorrows and bring their hurts, and it was one of my favorite nights of any World Youth Day.
Well, yesterday during catechesis, because I think it's humans, we like to look for patterns.
Yep.
And where there's a pattern, there's a narrative. And yesterday, my bishop, who was doing catechesis, he talked about the man with the withered hand and how I could get emotional with it,
Yeah.
but he reached out with his affliction. He didn't reach out with his strength.
Right.
I'm seeing that at this World Youth Day, and
Yes.
what you just said is confirming that,
Yeah.
that people are encouraged to take a look at those dark spots,
Yes.
to reach out, but it's also a very contemplative World
Yes.
Youth Day to where there's a desire
Yes.
for silence.
And you know, right out here, you can go to confession, hundreds of priests. And I went to confession, and I'm allowed to share part of my confession, right? At the time that I finished my confession, the priest said to me, do you know, don't forget to look at your weaknesses as strengths. Because in that weakness, there is an opportunity for God to make a miracle.
Wow.
And so it's so funny that is before that reading, before that homily, just on the first day here. And he said, you ask God to use those weaknesses in your life as windows to make something beautiful happen. And
Well, I tell you, Steve, talking about miracles, I think it is a miracle that you happen to be able to come here and be interviewed right in this narrow window of time. So, Steve, I am so grateful for you, because I know you're very busy, my brother.
I ran
so
just a
thank
little
you.
bit for you, buddy. I ran.
Well, thank you, Steve.
You're
And thank
welcome.
you for joining us here for Shalom World's coverage at World Youth Day 2019 in Panama. We'll go back down to the stage.